So I'm Mateusz, I'm a visual artist. I work mainly with bread dough. I also do painting, drawing, graphic design, sculptures, installations, but basically it's bread. Since I was, 5-6 years, I was always drawing and painting something, mostly drawing. So I decided to go to an art high school in Krakow. After that, I decided that I want to study painting, and that's what I was doing for most of my time when I was studying. But then in the last year I went to Iceland for a summer job, and I was on this farm, really far from anything, actually, from any grocery store or anything. But I remember I missed bread, a normal bread. I got this idea, let's maybe try to bake something, and I never baked anything before. I wasn't in baking at all. I had some yeast and I found some flour, and I just baked my first yeasted loaf, and it was kind of like a magic, amazing to just see how everything kind of transformed from flour and water into something that smells so nice. And then I kept baking. But when I came to Norway, I got a book. It was a Polish book, and it was about bread in folk traditions. And I remember there was some kind of a ritual bread from part of the Poland. It was a Slavic ritual bread in an animal shaped. And I was reading a lot about this kind of particular rituals that my ancestors used to bake, because this tradition was already fading and slowly dying. Since then I started to kind of incorporating the baking into my artistic practice. I started from this ritual bread of my ancestors, and then it somehow I got so into researching different kind of breads from different cultures. I find kneading the dough, working with the dough as something sensual. It's like a meditation for me. I usually have this 10 minutes to kind of be right now, right here, and I can just focus on the dough, on its texture, on smell, on smoothness. So when I bake sculptures, I prefer to keep my sculptures longer in the oven. So sometimes they get almost dark and burnt. So the crust and the texture, it changes the material. You kind of don't feel it's bread anymore. It becomes almost like wood. My inspiration comes from Slavic culture, Slavic ritual bread, but also from bread from different and various cultures. I also got inspiration from contemporary social enterprises, which kind of use baking as a healing tool. So they organize baking workshops, and they use baking and working with bread dough as something that improves our lives. This material is so, in a way, fragile. It can last for 3,000 years, but the sculpture can be destroyed after a week or so, it can crack apart. So the process actually of making the sculpture and baking it's more significant for me, the act of baking and working the dough, giving the shape, than the final outcome. Of course, I appreciate when they last longer, but it's not my intention to make something that will last forever.